don't let your parents' sacrifice go to waste. Why I start this video with this topic is that last week or a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, I was a little sick in between that time too. Why I started this video by saying don't let your parents' sacrifice go to waste is that I was recently at a conference at the Alpha Convention with over 3,000 Latino professionals in business, finance, and accounting. And it was just such an electrifying experience. Honestly, I have never been to one of these conventions before, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. If you ever get a chance to go to the Alpha Convention, they do such a great job of just putting together workshops and guest speakers. And it's just an all-around great event that I was actually fortunate enough to be at in Florida recently. And one of the speakers, my favorite speaker of the night, he was just an electrifying dude, great story. And one of the things he said in his speech was that, each one of us that are in this room, a lot of us were, first generation students like myself, where, I always get that kind of definition mixed up. I don't know. My parents were immigrants to this country. My parents both immigrated from Michoacan, Mexico. So I am Mexican, full Mexican. And, and I'm very proud of that, but I'm also, 100% American and all that good stuff. But, he brought up a really important topic of the fact that, each one of us in this room brought the people that came before us, worked extremely hard and did everything they needed to do, whether it was your grandparents or great grandparents or even your parents or even you. People worked really hard for us and you that are watching this video to get in the position that you are today. Maybe you're at a great high school. Maybe you're at a good college. Maybe you're now a working professional. But people came before you and sacrificed certain things in order for you to be where you're at. And, when he was giving his speech and giving, the message for that day, I was just sitting there and I couldn't help to think about when he said, your parents, whatever they did, whether they were washing dishes or, mowing lawns for people, because typically a lot of people like myself that their parents were immigrants to this country, a lot of them had to take, blue collar jobs and work really, really hard for, us to be where we're at. And, it's funny how I'm not gonna lie. It's funny. I'm not like a super emotional guy, but I got a little bit like watery eyed, because I thought about like all the sacrifices that my parents made for me and myself to get to where I'm at today. It's funny how, my dad came to this country when he was 15 years old. With nothing, literally nothing, and joined the U.S. military shortly thereafter, and did all these things, and was able to provide for myself and my two brothers and my mom. And my mom herself was always working. And remember my childhood. I honestly attribute the success that I've had in my life, the little success that I've had, because I plan to do so much more in my career, in my life. I attributed a lot, if not almost everything, to my parents and the upbringing they gave me. And it's funny how when I was in that room, sitting down in a suit, dressed up, with I couldn't help to think of all the things that the people that came before me, like my parents, did for me to be in the position I am today. And I brought them in there with me. And him saying that, I just couldn't get that out of my head. How, sometimes we get to a point in our career, or we get to a certain spot where we think it's just us, but at the end of the day, we have a whole team. We have an whole army behind us. And some of us are fortunate enough to have both parents. Some of us one parent or sibling or whatever the case may be. But some people came before you, and always remember that you have them there with you. And that is so critical and so important to me. And that's something that I don't really necessarily think about, honestly, ever before that, what he just told me, but now that next time I go to my office and I'm, in this high rise in downtown LA and I'm living this life and stuff, I need to remember where I came from and that I have these certain people there with me, because they are there with me, and it's so critical and it's so important. And I hate getting this car right now, but it's so critical and it's so important for you to remember that you have a team behind you and those people are there with you. And it's crazy how I brought my parents in that room with me, and then, having that thought in my mind, it just continues to add more fuel to the fire of what I want to do with this channel, what I want to do with this podcast, what I want to do with my career, and how I've come so far. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough grace to look back or even look at how far we've come. And, so many people have sacrificed to be where you're at today. And I want you to really take time today, whenever you watch this video, wherever you're at, and really realize how much people have put into you and how much people have invested in you, and be grateful for that. And today, wherever you're at, again, anyone that came before you to get where you're at today, whether you're a college student, whether you are the first person in your family to graduate from college like myself, or you're first person in your family to have, some professional job, or be wherever you're at today, thank those people and be grateful, because so much work was done before us. And that's something that I really never meditated on, and it really took time to actualize and realize that, all of the work that was done before me, and how thankful I should be for everything that has happened to me because of those people before me. So obviously for those, that for me is my parents, but that for you might be someone else. But just remember, be grateful. And I want you to do this. And it's funny how, he made us do it during it happened, but either text them, give them a call, or if you are lucky enough to have my parents are only an hour away from me, give them a hug, be with them, tell them thank you for everything they did for you, because that is so critical. And it's something that I honestly I didn't really never thought about before someone mentioned that to me. But, that 15-year-old little Mexican kid that came to this country with nothing, my dad, I'm forever grateful for everything he did for me, because I know if I was in his shoes, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I'm 15 years old going to a new country that I didn't speak the language to, and being able to build a life for myself and a family, and a young lady from Mexico City that came to this country with my dad. And, it's incredible what my parents have did. And I'm sure, your family, your parents, your story, or whoever came before you to be where you're at today has a similar story of struggle, hard work, and perseverance. And thank them for where you're at today, because so many people have done so much to get us where we are. And I'm speaking to you personally, where we're at today. And so, all right, guys, it's going to be it for the video today. If you found value in this video, please make sure to hit the like button below. Till next time, work hard, dress well. Peace.